So TCP, connection oriented. It actually goes through what we call the three-way TCP handshake to establish a session, and then at the end it'll run through a TCP three-way handshake to dismantle the session. It provides error detection and correction. In other words, if a frame does not arrive to the destination in a timely manner, the transmitter will actually retransmit that particular frame. This assures that the recipient is going to receive 100% of the data transmitted. UDP is connectionless. That's User Datagram Protocol. Is connectionless. It is unreliable. In other words, it's a best effort delivery. There is no session establishment. There's no session teardown. Lower overhead. But I don't guarantee that you're ever going to receive the data that I sent. So you might get some of it, you might get all of it, you might get none of it. UDP doesn't care. It just tries its best to get that information transmitted to you. Now the three frames in the three-way handshake is first called the SYN, synchronize. That's from the client to the server. That tells the server, hey server, I want to have a session with you. Synchronize with me my receive window. You synchronize your send window to match the size of my receive window. When the server receives the SYN frame, he understands that the client wants to establish a session, and the client is trying to synchronize the server's send window with the client's receive window. So the server responds back with what's called a SYN-ACK frame. That's the second frame of the three-way handshake. The server says, I acknowledge that you want to establish a session, and you want me to synchronize my send window with the size of your receive window. I acknowledge all that. You need to synchronize, and this is the server talking to the client now. Client, you need to synchronize your send window to match the size of my receive window. And so that's the SYN part of the SYN-ACK. Now, when the client receives the SYN-ACK, the second frame, he then transmits the final frame of the three-way handshake. This is called the ACK frame. The client sends the ACK to the server and says, I acknowledge. We now have a session. I have acknowledged also that I've set my send window to match the size of your receive window. So this is the three-way handshake to build the TCP session at layer 4 of the OSI model.